Is Atticus worth it for formatting my book? It's easy to figure out because I've got a lot to do as an indie author. These are the exact questions I had, and I'll be answering them in today's video, which is a tutorial for how to use Atticus to format your book, as well as in another video I'll publish shortly going over the pros and cons of my review of the product. But first, let's see what we need to do in order to format our books in Atticus. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Mary Kate M.K. Williams. I'm an author, and I love sharing my insights about all things books and publishing with you. Before I get into the details of today's tutorial, don't forget to hit subscribe. You'll be notified every week when I put out new videos about publishing, making it career to being an author, and now being a mompreneur. Now, this video is for self-publishing authors because we need to find a way to put our words and make them into a book, printable book. Now, Atticus is another product from Dave Chesson and his Kindlepreneur business of information for authors. I have not tried Publisher Rocket yet. If you want me to try Publisher Rocket so I can give you a tutorial and a review, let me know below. Now, before we start this tutorial, here is what you need before you start using Atticus. Before you upload, you need a finished file, okay? Done, edited, proofed. Your Word doc should be practically memorized because it's been copy edited so many times. Speak now or hold your peace. This book is done, okay? You need to have your ISBN assigned. Now, this is not required by Atticus, but in my opinion, you should have this done. You need this for your copyright page, which again, you should already have that filled out in your Word document so that way you can upload it. You are going to be asked for this when you fill in the book details. You can go back and add it later, but just have it done before you upload. Right, you need the book cover for the ebook. Now you're going to make a separate file for the ebook and the print book. You can use the same cover for both, just label them correctly. And the final thing that you need before you format your book is your patience. Pack your patience. I say this all the time on the channel. I'm thinking of getting little luggage tags. Would you guys want those? Let me know. Now, give yourself time to do this. Don't rush. Okay. You may have to come back and finish and tweak some of the formatting later, but don't start this like 20 minutes before you have to pick up your kids from school. It's a recipe for disaster. Okay. If we have everything we need, let's dive into the tutorial right now. Okay, so today we're going to create a new book for how to write your first novel using Atticus. As you can see, I've used this a couple of times now. I'll get into why you're seeing two of each in a moment. So first things first, you log in, you can see recent work. I guess I could also click over here to my books to see all of them. I'm just going to go to upload a book because I've already written this book. It's already in a Microsoft Word doc, so that's where I'm going to start right here in this upper left-hand corner. So I can drag and drop. Now I am going to, okay. Now you'll see I have one version for the 2025 new edition that says clean and one that says track changes. That's going to relate to my audiobook edit, so I'm going to grab this clean version. Now this is a Microsoft Word doc, and that's what you want to be using here. So I'm going to drag and drop. Okay, so I'm just trying to type in the title. As you can see, it did pre-populate my name because I have already wrote those. And then their little continue button says go get him Atticus. So I'm going to click on that now. Now this is going to take me to the book details page automatically. It's saying it found 17 chapters. I think you'll see when I get into the formatting that that's not accurate. And I'll show you how to fix that if anything shows up incorrectly. Now here there is a subtitle, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Okay, so I could put it under a project name. I probably could be having these all under my Author Your Ambition rebrand project. I haven't named that. I don't necessarily think I need it. Version, I could say that this was the new edition. I'm not filling that out here. I don't think it's necessary. And then also start page. Okay, so as you can see, it's showing what it pulled in. So title page, copyright contents, and then it's showing all of this junk, for lack of a better word. So I'm just going to click title page for now, and that's going to help to set the default page there. And I will show you how to fix all of that other stuff that pops up. So if you're seeing that on the other screen, if you're playing this tutorial and you have your screen next to you, don't panic. We can fix it. Okay, now this is really nice where I can just drag and drop my book cover. Now 100 Covers made this for me. It's beautiful. What's interesting is I can drag and drop. I can go to like a gallery. It's nice that they have here to create with BookBrush. I love that integration. I love using BookBrush. I've had Kathleen from BookBrush on the channel several times. She's amazing. So if you don't have a beautiful cover from 100 Covers, you could always do that too. All right, here's my beautiful cover file, which has a very just standard title to it. I'm going to drag and drop. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go over here. This is under book details. I'm going to switch over to publisher details at the top. Okay, I'm going to put in, oh, look, it remembered my publisher name from last time. That's very nice. Publisher link. I always prefer to copy and paste if I can. Okay, and then my ISBNs. So I have those there. Okay, so here's the thing that always trips me up. There's no save button. Okay, here's what always trips me up. There's no save button, or there is a save icon up here. That is to download a JSON file that is a backup of this instance of Atticus with everything on it. So once it's uploaded, no save, you're just done. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go over to formatting next because I'm still in my ebook here. Okay. And this is where you're going to pick the theme that you want. Now, as you can see, I've already done a few things here. So the one that I liked was this Intratech was the format I like, and you can see it's giving a preview. Obviously, this is not how I want it to look, so we're going to fix that, but this is giving the preview of the font styles and how the headings are going to look. I liked that one. What I did is I kind of went on this little 3 dot here and edited as a new theme, and then when you edit as a new theme, you save the name for the new theme. So I've already done what I wanted to do with that, and I've already saved it here as my name. That's my favorite. That's the one I want to use. Okay. So now when I go over to writing, it's going to allow me to actually go in and make the changes that I don't want it to look like this. What's really nice is on this preview page is I can change this. I can see how it's going to look in any emulator. So I am going to show you more of that once I'm done with the formatting under editing under this writing phase here. But just know you can pick from any of these and you can even customize it. Like you can create a whole brand new theme if you want. Because this is nonfiction, I don't have anything fancy in here, but if you wanted, fancy images to go into your chapter headers, if you had special icons you wanted for like a chapter break, any of those things, you can custom set that in here. So if I even go in to just edit this theme that I have, chapter headings, what is it going to look like? What are the paragraphs going to look like? What are the subheadings? Steam breaks, very helpful. So this is where you could change that if you had a different image you wanted to use. If I was doing footnotes, I could do that. Print layout, I am going to go over this later. I actually am going to do a whole other video of things I love and don't love about this program, and that is one of them. I can go over the headers, trim sizes, all those things. And I will be talking more about this functionality in my what I loved, what I didn't love video. As you can see, it's showing which ones are used by Ingram Spark, which ones are used by KDP. So nice to see for print. Right now I'm working on the ebook, so that's not going to be as related. I'm just going to hit save. I didn't change anything, but I'm just going to hit save so it takes me back here. Okay, so now I have picked my theme. I have set up my book details. Now I am ready to go in and do the work of making sure it looks the way I want it to. Pick my format. Now it's time. I'm going to go into this element up here that's called writing. So right now I'm under formatting, which is truly the theme and template. Writing is where if there's any edits you need to make, like this nonsense, we're going to fix that. Okay. So we're going to go under writing. Now what happens is inside the templates here, they're already built in a title page, a copyright, a table of contents. That's great. Because I was editing books that I had already formatted for previously, I already have a title page, a copyright page, content. So now I have to assign them correctly. So what I'm going to do is this is the title page. This is the title page. Okay, this is not going to be a numbered chapter. This is not going to be included elsewhere, but I do need to change this. because this is now the title page. So I'm going to put here a title page. Okay, so you can see it's working every time I make an edit. I've had to do this for the other two books, so this is just the way I'm doing it. Um, I'm sure Dave Chesson somewhere is yelling at the computer screen saying, no, you do it this way, but I didn't figure that out, so this is the way I'm doing it. And this is the way I'm showing you to do it because this is the way I figured it out. Okay, while this is loading through, you'll notice here, all the body ones just have numbers and they don't have the chapter titles. So that is one thing I'm going to show you to do next is how to add the chapter titles correctly. Because that was one thing that I noticed did not carry through at all. It recognized, hey, there was a Word doc, you said this was a chapter and it was the first one. So that's the first chapter. Hey, this is a Word doc and this is the next chapter heading break that we read there. This is chapter 2, but it didn't pull in the actual text that was header text. Okay, I just did a hard refresh and now the page is working again and it's not syncing anymore. I will say this is a great tool compared to Scribus. And if some of you have been following this channel for a while, you saw I did a Scribus tutorial video and that was much more manual on my part. Like you'll see that this is going to be a much shorter overall tutorial, but it is still technology. It is still web-based technology. So always, always pack your patience. So I'm just going to change this to say title page. What's going to happen when I do that is it's going to try to put something that says title page on here. And I don't want it to say title page on the title page because that's silly. So I'm going to go over to this gear that's next to that. I'm going to say hide chapter heading. I do not need to see that it says title page on this page. I just need to know it here. Okay. So the image here, I want to make sure it's a bit bigger and a bit wider. So I can delete the image if I didn't want it there. I do want it there, or I can change it. Now with this, I can actually change the image. I can add a caption. So I'll just write how to write your first novel. Always put captions when you can on images. That's just really good for ADA compliance and just making sure people can always see your images. If they can't see them, then they can at least understand what's there. Okay, I'm not going to put a link. I'm going to update the image. Cool. Okay, so what happened here is then it's populating this and it put my copyright page here, which is not what I want. So what I'm going to do is, oh, that's okay. All of this content needs to go to the copyright page. So I'm going to hard copy and move that. Again, I'm going to talk more about my thoughts on the copyright page and my things I do and don't love about this software. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is I have my copyright page, and then this defaults to then have the table of contents go after it. I always have my works by after my copyright page before the tables of contents. So what I'm going to do is at the end of my copyright page, I'm going to insert up here on this bar. It's a lot like any other WYSIWYG word processor or web editor that you'll see. It's like script, paragraph changes. I can do a page break here. That is what I'm going to do. So if somebody is looking at this on an ebook, e-reader, it will hard push them to the next page. Now, one thing that you'll notice here is so I have all of the information for the copyright page. Obviously, it's showing the email address and the web address for Author Your Ambition. It just says cover design by. I will tell you, I put the cover design by 100 covers in the Word document, and I will even show you that I did it to prove to you that I know what I'm doing. What happens is, as you can see, this is the Word document. It says cover design by 100 covers. Why isn't it there, MK? That's a great question. One thing that I noticed is that Atticus strips out some of the text with links. So that was one thing I had to go through and correct the very first time I did this. So I will say, as you are going through, go through your document. If you have anything hyperlinked, include it because this is a nonfiction book and I have links to say, hey, if you need more information, go to my YouTube channel, like the one you're watching now. I do have the hot link in the ebook, and obviously there's no hot link in the print book, but always update the links first before you finish the ebook formatting, to make sure it makes sense. Obviously, it took out even the text that was hyperlinked. So it's not just, oh, the text is there, it's not hyperlinked. You have to go and add that back in. But also, if you're then going to use this for your print formatting, make sure everything's updated in the ebook side first. That looks the way I want it to. Okay, table of contents. I am not going to mess with the table of contents because it's going to be auto formatted. Now, what you're seeing here is that it shows chapter one, chapter two is chapter two. This is going to be fixed by the time I finish all of this because this is not an accurate reflection of what really is in chapter one, chapter two, chapter three. So I'm going to go through what I have. You'll see as I'm doing this, I have my Word document pulled up. I always do this with my two screens. One screen, I have Atticus. The other screen, I have the Word document so I can make sure everything matches. I'm not able to record two screens at once for you, so sorry. And if you have your Atticus up on one screen and this tutorial on the other screen, also have your Word document pulled up so you can check everything, okay? This is the dedication, so this is not a chapter. This is not a numbered chapter. And I would like to hide the chapter heading. Like this does not need, it's just the dedication. It's just what comes next. Okay, we can just delete this whole thing because this is the table of contents that I put in, but we don't need that anymore. Okay, delete. Introduction. So what it did was my H1 in my Word document, it kind of stripped it and made it like an H3. I'm literally just gonna cut and paste that, okay? So now, this says chapter one, introduction. Now what I'm going to do here is say it's not a numbered chapter. So it therefore should not have a number on it. And so when we go back to the table of contents, oh, I don't like that. Okay, I just need to move this up here then. So now when we go to the table of contents, this is so it'll just say introduction. All right, so now I'm going to do this for each of the chapters. And now here on the table of contents, it's just going to say part one. I'm going to have it show the subtitles. There we go. So this is our true chapter one here. So this one can and should be a numbered chapter. So we're going to say chapter one, dedicate time to write. Because what we're going to see over here on the table of contents now is my other ones. Oh, not a numbered chapter. Okay, so now when we get to chapter one, it's going to say chapter one is chapter one. So as you can see, all the front information had to be fixed there. All right, so I'm going to go through and do that for all of these. Yeah. I'm kind of stopping midway through this process because as you can see, this H1 looks a little wonky. And it's something else I noticed going through this before. So that's one thing I'll be doing once I'm done with all of the chapter headers is going through and making sure all my subheads are in the correct H1, H2, H3. They're all on one line. And again, any linked text that was stripped out is added back in. Okay, this is not a numbered chapter. Okay, these are the acknowledgements. I will at least put that here. But this is not a numbered chapter. Okay. So in this case, everything was kind of cut correctly. One of the last times I did this, it kind of did a chapter cut in the middle of a chapter. So if that happened, I would say if for some reason chapter two what they said was chapter two wasn't, I would literally just say merge with next chapter, right? If I was like, no, these were supposed to be, these two things you're saying are two chapters are actually one, I would say merge with the next chapter. So it does give you the option to fix that. So now I'm going to go through and make sure all my headings are correct. It's still painstaking. It still takes time. It's still something that I want to make sure you guys aren't rushing through or just thinking, oh, because it's this software and lots of authors use it, I don't have to go through and check it. You always have to go through and check every page of your formatted documents. Always. Even if you think, oh, well, this is supposed to do it for me, you still have to, if you're self-publishing, you are the publisher. Don't put anything out there with your name on it if you have not checked it. Okay. All right, so the reason I picked this book to show you is because it is by far my most popular nonfiction book for audiobook right now, and kind of prompted the reason for me to go through this whole project of updating everything. And because there aren't that many links for me to go back through and do, because you might go crazy watching me do this. So I compared my chapter 3 document from my Word document to the chapter 3 here. So I did have a link here at the end. So I always have worksheets for anybody who gets any of my nonfiction books. And as you can see, for this purpose. Boop. Okay. So we have to add that in. So it's truly as easy as copy paste, and the link is still hyperlinked. So that's very helpful. Again, you can just see like at, and then there's no text there. So let's strip that out. Now, if you are writing fiction, you very likely will have no hyperlinks in the body of your text. When you're writing nonfiction, that's more likely. I usually recommend not hyperlinking from within the book because that's going to take people out of it, right? They're going to click on the link, they're going to do the thing that will they come back to the book? I think because I'm writing how-to guides and I have worksheets that go with it, I think it makes sense. For other people, it may not. You can always test that in your books. But for ebooks, I figure why not? Why not give them that functionality if they can use that? Okay. So we're happy with this. I'm happy with how it looks right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over way to this bottom right corner, which is the previewer. Okay. And that is where I'm going to look at the entire book. Now, right now, it is showing me the table of contents. So I need to scroll to the bottom here and go to the next chapter. So what I want to do is I actually want to start at the very beginning of the book to make sure it looks the way I want it to. If that came over from the previous page, I don't need that. Okay, there we go. Okay, next chapter. So reviewing this for the ebook is going to go a lot faster than for the print because it's all reflowable, right? Here, so it's giving me drop caps. I don't want a drop cap on the dedication. And I want all of this to be centered. So I'm going to go over here. So what's really nice is I can edit in real time when I'm doing the previewer, which is really nice to have. Okay, introduction. Boom. My story. Yay. I can scroll through the whole chapter. It looks the way I want it to look. Okay, cool. Go to the next chapter. So I'm going to do that for every single chapter to make sure it looks right, make sure it looks nice. Okay. And when all of that is done, so we're going to fix that because that looks janky. See, this is why you go through every single page. So we finally like everything in the book. We like the way it looks. Cool. So now, perfect. We love it. We love everything about it. Okay, so once you are done and you like the way it looks, you're going to click over to formatting. You're going to scroll down and you're going to say export EPUB. Okay, and that's your EPUB file. The title of it is going to be the title that you named it. And be sure to save it to the folder that you want it to be saved. Okay. Okay, so now that the EPUB is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my home screen. Hey, there you are, how to write your first novel. And I am going to duplicate this. I'm going to do this because this duplicate is going to become the print formatting. I think the ideal with Atticus was that you format it once and you never have to have separate files. That I did not find to be possible for my first view. So I am actually going to take out where it says ebook and then ebook copy on the title. I'm taking that out. And I'm doing that for a very specific reason. You're noticing I'm not naming it print version because this book title here will show up on the page spreads. So I do not want that to be there where it just says how to write your first novel print on there. Would not be, that's not for me. Okay, we're going to go over to formatting. We already know this is the format that I liked. I'm going to go in. Now, I will say before you start any print formatting, double, triple, quadruple check your print trim size is the one that you want. Because I would have sworn to you on the graves of all of my ancestors that I had set this to 5.5 by 8.5 when I did self-publishing for the first time author. And let me tell you, it was not set that way. So I am double checking. Yes, before I go in to do this print, I'm going to do it this way. Because I wanted to cry when I had to reformat that. So I'm going to go over back to writing. Now, there should be no edits I have to make, right? Like you saw me go through and make sure any text that was removed is in there. Everything is set up the way I like it. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to do a print preview. I want to do a print preview because I want to see how it's going to look. Now, obviously, that is not how I want this to look. Okay, that doesn't look good for the first print page. I don't want that. It's also showing me 109 pages. Good to know. Again, I'm going to have a separate video for it, but I would just love right here underneath 109 pages, 5.5 by 8.5 inches. That's what you saved in the template. That's what you're getting as the output. Um, for lack of a better word, I would love if this was idiot proof or this was, I am a one person publishing machine as a self-published author. I have a bajillion details to manage. I'm just going to show you this detail, the trim size, because I'd say that's probably where 90% of people are going to get tripped up. Okay. That said, let's go ahead and fix this. Image size. Can I make sure it's centered? All right, now some things I did not show you guys before, but I'm going to go over now. So as I mentioned, this top has your bold, italic, underline, strike through, subscript, all that fancy stuff. You can set your headings all the way down to heading 6 and standard paragraphs. You can change the alignment and add numbered lists and unnumbered lists. You can add a scene break, page break, link, image, call out box, very helpful. Text message. So again, if you're doing fiction and people are texting each other, that's really cool that you can add that. Footnotes or different profiles there. You can add different kinds of quotes, which I love. Split chapters, etc. Okay, copyright. That looks normal. That's nice. Okay, my other works is super tight, but it just makes the page cut off. This makes me a little nervous because this was a difficult one and the other ones. Okay, it all fits on one page. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm getting into the meat of the book. And this is where I had issues before, where I would have what are called like orphans. I would have like one word from a paragraph that would be stray. I would have like one bullet point from a list would be like spare on the next page. And it drove me crazy seeing it. Um, and so this is where I'm going through, and this version is going to be different from the ebook. I would not do a hard space, hard enter on an ebook because, ugh, like, see, so at the end of this page, it's starting the list. So you just have start of one, and then you're finishing it over here with the rest of the list. I don't think that looks very good. So I personally don't like that. So I'm going to fix it because it's my book. My name is on it. So I'm going to do a forced indent here, and hopefully it's going to bump everything to the next page. What I would not want that in the ebook because people reading the ebook would be like, why is there a random space here? So that's where I am literally going through every single page or like, that looks bad. And I checked the no orphans and no widows, and we're still here. So I am going to be manually fixing this, and that's why my print file is separate from my ebook file. Now, as you saw, it sent me all the way back to the beginning of the chapter when I do that. So I'm going to be going through and painstakingly fixing this. And once I'm happy with it, then I will go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're at the end here. We like everything. Yay! Okay, so now I'm going to go over to formatting. Again, print preview, love it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll. That lets me. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to export the PDF. Okay, and that is going to give me that PDF file that I need to upload to KDP and to Ingram Spark. And that is how you do it, folks. Let me know what questions you have that I didn't highlight here. And I'm going to be having several other videos come back, kind of comparing different formatting softwares. I hope you found this helpful and best of luck. All right, folks, and that's how you do it. What other questions do you have? Did I miss something that you specifically wanted to see? Do you have any tips to help other authors make better use of this tool? Share those comments below. I really love it when we keep the conversation going. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, or maybe hit the thank you button. That tells YouTube you got value from this information and they can get it in front of other authors like us. Now you can get back to writing your book.